So let me just mute everyone. That was you being muted. And I'll share my screen with you. And we're going to be talking about leads in different situations and discards. I just wanted to refer you all to this table of standard leads, which is here on the bridgeclass.co website. So in other words, it's here under handouts and slides. And if you're not familiar with this, this really is something you ought to know off by heart. Very many people make the wrong leads and do not follow this. And if you're not 100% familiar with this, do spend some time and study this in your odd moment. We are going to be looking at leads from this table. And if I switch to my slideshow, we'll be looking at things like leading from the top of a sequence. So if you have a sequence headed by an honor, like King, Queen, Jack, you lead the top card of a sequence. If you decide to lead from a long suit like this, but you have one or more honors, but no sequence, so something like King, Jack, then it's normal to lead the fourth highest from a suit with at least one honor, but with no sequence of honors and with no near sequence. Okay, any questions on that so far? And we're also going to be looking at what you lead if you decide to lead from a suit where you have no honors. So
can I just ask you a quick question? Are these leads for both suit contracts and no trump contracts as well?
Yes, these are both leads for suit contracts and no trump contracts. And in terms of their attractiveness, the first lead, the lead for top of a sequence, is nearly always attractive both against a suit and against no trump. The lead of fourth highest is more attractive from a long suit in no trump. If you lead from something like this where you've got one or two honors but no sequence, you can often give away a trick. So against a suit contract, that may be what you choose, but it's risk giving away a trick. And then if you decide to lead from a suit with no honors in it, which can be a safe lead, and that's something, as I mentioned, the robots sometimes do, it's normal to lead a highish card. And the normal card that is played in that situation is the second highest. So if you lead the 7, let's say, if this were against a no trump contract, that looks like a highish card, and it's probably a suit, but not a suit with any honors in it. Okay. If they'd led the 7 against a suit contract, it could be that, or it could perhaps be a shortness, could be leading from a short suit. But against no trump, you don't normally lead your short suits. But if you decide to lead from a long suit with no honors, it's normal to lead your second highest. And sometimes your partner can use that information to interpret your lead. Okay. Any comments or questions, do just interrupt me. So let's have a look at an example of this. Suppose we're playing against 3 no trump, and your partner, say on opening lead, leads the 3 of spades, and the Queen 10-2 is in dummy, that's the north hand, and you've got the ace jack 6. What do you think that lead of the 3 of spades is? It should be your partner's fourth highest, and it should be from a suit with at least one honor in it. Can you also tell me how many spades you think your partner started off with in this suit?
5.
4.
4.
Can you tell that the 3 is their fourth highest? And because you can see the 2 in dummy, okay, it means that they almost certainly led from a 4-card suit, including the king. Okay, the king here is the only honor that's unaccounted for from your point of view. So they have the king, and they led from a 4-card suit. So if Declarer Lee plays the 2 of spades from dummy, what should East play here?
Jack.
So the 2 is played from dummy, And you, because you've got the queen trapped, if you like, should play the jack. Third hand, you play high, but with an honor, the queen there in dummy, you play the jack, okay? And if you play the jack, you would expect it to win the trick. Because if your partner's got the king, which you think is the case from that lead, the jack will win the trick. So the jack wins the trick. And the second question for you is, what card are you going to play now?
Ace.
No, the 5.
The 5.
It's one of those, isn't it?
5 to get the king, and then they lead back, and you trap the queen. with the
No,
ace.
I think it should be ace.
Good. We'll have a nice heated debate about this.
Yeah, I think ace to show you've got the ace as well.
It's
to unblock.
yeah, it's to unblock. It's to unblock. You know your partner has more spades than you. They start off with 4 cards in the suit. So you must play the ace now, which will win the trick, of course. Then you play your 5. Your partner wins the king and takes the last trick with their last spade. So this is a very likely layout. And you've got to do a lot of things right on this hand. Win the first trick with the jack and then play back the ace to unblock. If you win the jack and then play back a low card, your partner will win the king, leave the suit again, and you'll win trick 3 with your jack. Sorry,
Ace.
yeah, with your ace. Sorry, you'll win trick 3 with your ace. Sorry, so the jack, then the king, then the ace. But then you'll be stuck. You'll have blocked the suit. Now, you might be able to get to your partner in another suit, and they'll be able to take their 4th spade. But once you know the layout, you can allow yourselves to make the first 4 tricks if you play as recommended there. The jack, then the ace, and then a low spade. Okay, any questions on that?
No.
Okay. On the other hand, let's suppose, again against 3 no trump, your partner leads the 8 of spades. Now, that is a highish card, isn't it? And that should make you think, is that 4th highest? Now, there's when your partner does lead 4th highest, there's a rule of 11 you can use to determine how many cards there are higher than the card your partner has led in the other 3 hands. And you can also use this same rule in some situations like this to determine if this is your partner's 4th highest. Now, if this were your partner's 4th highest, what you would do is take the number of the card they've led, 8 from 11, and that would suggest that there are 3 cards higher than the 8 in the other 3 hands. But you, as East, can see that's not the case, because you can already see 4 cards higher than your partner's 8. You can see the Queen 10, and you've got the Ace Jack. Therefore, the 8 of spades is not your partner's 4th highest.
Second highest?
Yeah, it's probably their 2nd highest. And it's also from a suit with no honors. So if you can, if you believe your partner has led correctly, you actually know what is your partner's card that's higher than the 8. What is it?
9.
It's a 9.
9, yeah.
It's a 9. They don't have the king. They don't have any honors, but they've led from a holding like 9, 8, something, something. And you can deduce that that they don't have the king. So the way you play this is actually quite different now. There are different ways you could play this, but if you trust that your partner's got the 9, you might decide to actually play low on this card, and you might find that this is the layout. Okay, if you trust that your partner's got the 9, you can see the Queen 10, Ace Jack. You might actually play low and actually force Declarer, if they want to win it, to play the king. And now Declarer might only make that 1 spade. I don't know if you can see that if they lead this suit again, you've got the Ace Jack, which will trap the Queen and the 10. So you let them have 1 trick here, but that might be the only spade they're going to make, if you trust your partner has led correctly there. Okay, so how you play it can be quite different. If your partner leads a low card in a suit, promising an honor, or if they lead a highish card, which indicates they don't have an honor in the suit. Any questions on that? Another thing you might decide to do is, given that they have no honor, you might actually decide to win this trick and switch to another suit. Now, it depends on dummy, and we'll look at an example of this in a moment, but if they play the 8, you might realize that you're not going to make many tricks in this suit if your partner doesn't have an honor. And another option, instead of playing low and letting them win the king, would actually be to win this so that you could switch to another suit. And that might be a good thing to do in a situation like this. So let's put up a full hand where your partner leads the 8 of spades. You do the same deduction. The spade situation is what we looked at before. So you know your partner doesn't have the king, doesn't have an honor. And you can also see that dummy is very strong in clubs. You can see that dummy is going to, Declare's going to be able to make 5 club tricks. And this is a kind of hand where you might decide to try and take any tricks that are coming your way before Declare is able to take all their tricks. So you could play low here and let your partner win, and let Declare win the king and stop them making any more spades. Or, because of that strong dummy, you might go for a more active defense, a more aggressive defense, and actually play your ace, okay, which will of course win the trick, and then switch to dummy's weakness. Here, dummy is very weak in hearts, and you've got the Jack 10 of hearts. What you're hoping to do here is maybe get some heart tricks for your side. So if you win the ace, then you wouldn't want to carry on with that suit, with the spade suit, because you know Declare has still got the king and the queen there. So you might then switch to dummy's weak suit, which is maybe a heart, and lead the Jack of hearts. It's top of a 2-card sequence, and it's higher than any heart in dummy. And what you're hoping for is some kind of layout like this, where by you leading a heart, you'll be able to trap an honor that Declarer has in their hand, and you'll be able to make some heart tricks before they can take all their clubs. On this particular layout, if you let Declarer win the king of spades, they've got 9 tricks or more off the top, because you can see as East that their clubs are going to take 5. They're going to make 5 clubs. You've got the Jack or 3, so you can see they're going to make 5 clubs. They can make 4 diamonds, and they'll make a spade if you let them. So on this particular layout, the winning tactic is actually to win your ace and switch to dummy's weakness. On another hand, it might be to play more passively so that you win the king and prevent them from making 2 spade tricks. Any questions on that?
Why doesn't the declarer start with hearts?
Can you explain your question again?
Declare, I mean, instead of opening with 8, why don't we say 3 of hearts? Start with 3 of hearts.
You mean, why doesn't the defender lead the 3 of hearts?
Sorry, defender.
Yeah. Well, as you can see on this hand, if you lead the 3 of hearts, you help Declarer. You're leading away from a 4-card holding, including the ace queen, and even though your partner's got the Jack and the 10, you're helping Declarer make a trick with the king. So leading from holdings like this, where you've got 2 honors, is not often a good choice. If that had been a 5-card heart suit, it would be more tempting. But it's only 4 cards, and you might decide that a much safer lead that will not help Declarer so much would be to lead a spade. Okay. So I would not lead from that holding, ace, queen, 9, 3. It's too, with only 4 cards, it's too likely to help Declarer, as it does here. And, you know, on this hand, Declarer makes the king, and then we'll be able to make 9 tricks in the minor suits. So a much better choice, perhaps. You know, as you all know, making your opening lead is a bit of a gamble sometimes. You make an unusual lead and it works out. You make a normal lead and it may not do very well. But you may well decide to lead a spade here rather than lead from a 4-card heart holding.
Tony, although it's a little bit off subject, you keep saying that the declarer will make 9 tricks in the minors. Does that imply that they take a diamond finesse?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Only you're right. Yeah. So actually, they've only got 8 definite tricks, haven't they?
No, they've got 9.
Nine. They have got 9.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they've got five clubs and
And
3
4
three diamonds.
4 diamonds.
Well, it's only 3 for sure.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah. Okay,
It depends.
okay.
Depends how they.
Yeah, and the
how
jack.
they-
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, you're quite right. It's 8 definite tricks, plus 1 if they make a trick earlier on, and they may make another one if they finesse in diamonds. So yeah.
Tony,
You're
with
right.
that, you say in the second round they lead the Jack of Hearts,
Yeah.
and then if South doesn't play the King,
Yeah.
so what should the partner do? I mean, in that case, I'd probably think, oh, I should play the Ace, but then we've lost the ability to trap that King down there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can see dummy, all right? Everyone can see the north hand. So when your partner leads the jack, if declarer plays low, you would, of course, let your partner retain the lead, win it with the jack. Okay?
Oh, I'm mixed up. Is South the hand that is that the dummy? Sorry, I'm all mixed up.
North is dummy. Okay? So if your partner leads the jack of hearts,
Oh, yes, I see. Of course, we
Yeah.
know it's not there. Sorry.
then you can see the weakness
I
of dummy.
couldn't visualize it properly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's there's something to think about there, where your partner leads a high card rather than leads their 4th highest, and you can make you can decide to play this in a slightly different way. You certainly would play it differently if they led a low spade, their 4th highest, compared to them leading a high spade there. So that's one way to try to remember it is if you lead a low card in a suit, lead low means like, and like means you have at least 1 honor in the suit. Lead high, you can try and remember as a lead of a high card means hate. And hate isn't maybe too strong a word, but what it really means is hate means you have no honors in that suit. It may be a long suit that you've led from, but you're showing that you don't have any honors in that suit. So lead high to indicate hate, if you like, lead low to indicate like, or at least that you have at least 1 honor in the suit. And a popular alternative to leading 2nd highest is in no trump, and this is only in no trump, to lead the top of nothing. So that actually is often even clearer if in no trump. If you lead a high card, you lead the 9 here, and that's often even clearer that you have no honors in the suit, and it can help the partner. I quite like that, but again, you should do one of those things. The 8 would be considered standard, or if you have a partnership where you've agreed to play that against no trump, you lead top of nothing against no trump. Top of nothing means top of a holding with no honours in it. Okay.
Does the 10 count as an honour for these purposes?
The 10 is an honour, yes. So if I had, for example, 10, 9, 8, the right card to lead would be the 10, okay? But the 9 is not an honour. So those are the general rules, that the 10 is an honour. It's not a very good honour, but it counts. Then the other side of this is signals, which are high to encourage and low to discourage. This is what's called standard signals. And these are used, for example, when your partner leads a suit to signal whether you like the suit, you play high to encourage. Also, when you discard, your first discard, you would try to discard a high card to encourage that suit, or a low card to say that you have no interest in the suit. And what's interesting, if you like, is that these signals are exactly the opposite to the card you make when you make an opening lead. So when you're making an opening lead, a low card, your fourth highest, is saying you have an honor in the suit, lead low to say you like the suit, or lead high, a highish card, to say you don't have an honor. But when you're signaling, which is when your partner leads a suit, you play a signal, are exactly the opposite to opening leads. So I hope you're all clear on that. I didn't make these rules, but this is what's considered standard signals. Okay, so let's just look at another one here. Against 3 no trump, your partner leads the 7, and down comes the ace, 10, 9 of spades, and you've got the king, jack. Can you tell what does that 7 show? Do you think your partner's got an honor in that suit or not?
No.
No.
No. Again, you can use the rule of 11. 11 minus 7 is 4, and that would say that if that were fourth highest, there are 4 cards higher than the 7 in the other 3 hands. But you can already see 5 of them, so you know that the 7 is not fourth highest. So if declarer plays low from dummy, the 10 or the 9, you know declarer is sitting there with the queen, because your partner doesn't have it. So you might very well play your king, and then probably switch to another suit, because you know declarer's still got the queen there. The layout is probably something like this, and you know if you carry on with this suit after you've won the king, declarer's got 2 more stoppers there, the ace and the queen, and maybe again it's a time to switch to another suit there. Okay. Any comments or questions on that? So it's all about trying to make those deductions when your partner's made a lead. Let's have a look at a few more hands. And let's have a look at this one. And here you're west, and the bidding has gone 1 diamond, 2 clubs, 3 no trump. And it's your lead. And what do you think you might lead on this one?
Either a diamond or a club.
Well, those are your best suits, aren't they?
Yes.
But they're also declarer's best suits.
10 of clubs.
Right.
I would go for 10 of clubs, or maybe 10 of diamonds still.
Yeah. Well, you know from the bidding that declarer has basically got those suits. Declarer's got diamonds and clubs. Also, it doesn't look like they've got the major suits. So, you know.
Would you play your ace first?
Which ace?
Ace
Ace
of
of spades?
spades?
Ace of spades.
Yeah, I would be very tempted here. Yes, you're right that you would be thinking of leading a minor suit, and it's probably better to lead a suit bid by dummy than a suit bid by declarer here. If you lead a diamond, you're leading into declarer's strong suit, and you may well help him make diamonds. Clubs is not so bad, but you have the ace king of spades, and this is a time when you may well decide to lead the ace and see whether your partner encourages you or not. Okay, so you know declarer has not bid either major, so you should realize that they may not have you know good holding in the major suits. And if you lead the ace of spades, what you're looking for is to see if your partner encourages you, and they will encourage you if they play a highish card. So something like the 9 is clearly an encouraging card, high to encourage, and of course your ace wins the trick. So what are you going to play next?
King?
The king, yes. Presumably your partner has some length in spades. You've only got 3 cards, and it wasn't a fantastically attractive lead, but now your partner is encouraged. You will carry on with the king. Now your partner plays the 4, so you know they were encouraging, and you play a 3rd spade, and your partner is able to win that one with the queen. Now, let's suppose they now take another spade, and you now have a chance to give a signal in terms of what suit you would like your partner to play back. This 10 is the last spade, so your partner's going to win the 10 and then we'll play another suit. And what suit would you like them to play?
Hearts.
Well, a
Hearts.
heart maybe. You like to show strength in hearts. Now, your partner can see dummy, so I hope that your partner will not, after they win the 10, would not really want to play a club here because they'd be leading into that long club suit. So they're not going to lead a club, you hope, but you want to discourage a diamond here. So I would play a low diamond, low to discourage, saying I don't want you to lead a diamond to me back. Hopefully they won't lead a club either, and whatever they, hopefully that only leads a heart for them to play. And if they play a heart, you're able to make the first 5 tricks there. Okay. So you can't make any more after that because Declarer's got all the diamonds and all the clubs, but you'll hold Declarer to 8 tricks if you make the first 4 spades and they take their heart. Hopefully they would lead a heart anyway, but you couldn't actually explicitly signal for a heart because your only hearts were the ace and the 2. So you can't play the 2 to encourage, so you play a low card in another suit to indicate you don't want a diamond back. Okay, so that's a sort of example of signalling there, and signalling when your partner leads their 4th spade, you get a chance to signal as well there. Right? Let's try another one. Here it's gone.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry.
Yeah.
You're saying 10 is the honor. So if you're treating 10 as an honor, why can't you play the 4th highest then?
You mean why don't you lead a minor suit?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, not in this particular case, but generally, would you lead a 4th highest if you're holding 10 as an honor?
If I had decided to lead one of these suits,
yes,
the normal card to lead is the 4th highest.
For example, diamonds.
Yes. It would be the 2 of diamonds. You have a 2-card sequence, the 10 and the 9, but it's not a 3-card sequence or near sequence. So if you had led a diamond, you would lead the 2. If you decided to lead a club, you would lead the 3. But obviously,
so in other words, you are treating it as a proper
the 10
honor.
is an honor, yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Right. So that's what it normally means. To lead your 4th, to lead a low card, it should indicate you have at least 1 honor in that suit. It could only be the 10, although obviously normally it would be something better than that. Let's have a look at this one, where the bidding has gone 1 spade, 2 hearts by West, 2 spades, and that got passed out. And your partner starts off here leading the ace of hearts. And down comes dummy. And the question for you is, which heart are you going to play?
8.
Okay. Why are you going to play the 8?
To show that it's only a doubleton.
Yeah, I mean, you want to, when your partner leads the ace, you should assume they have the ace and the king. They may or may not have the queen, but you should signal on the basis that they have the ace and the king. And you should signal high to encourage or low to discourage. And here, because you've got a doubleton, you should play the 8. Okay, and hopefully your partner will notice that that's high. They can cash their king, and if they lead the queen here, they know that you were signaling earlier, right? But so they knew that you were signaling because you had a doubleton. They've led the queen here, and if they lead that, it should be an indication that they don't want you to ruff. Okay. Yeah. In other words, if the layout, if we just bring up the 4 hands at this point, the layout let me just bring that up. Yeah. So the layout could well be that Declarer started off with the ace, king, queen, and doesn't particularly want you to rough this one because they've got the queen and they know if you have a doubleton, there's still a heart there in the south hand. So they're playing the queen here, indicating they don't really want you to rough. If they'd wanted you to rough, they should have led a lower heart, so you would be more inclined to rough. But when they lead the queen, you don't really want to rough that, so you're going to play something else. What do you think you might discard here?
Diamond.
Diamonds.
Diamond, 4 of diamond.
A diamond is attractive, and when we're discarding, we can also give a signal to my partner that we have some strength in that suit. So rather than the 4 of diamonds, which would be low to discourage, I
8.
think a good card is the 8, yes. And hopefully your partner will get a message that you have some strength in diamonds.
Yeah.
Okay. So after they've taken the first 3 tricks, they should not really carry on here because declarer would be able to rough in one hand and maybe discard from the other. But they might well switch to a diamond. And if they play the right diamond here, which is a low diamond, it gives you a chance to win with the ace. Again, when they lead a low card, that should indicate that they have some strength in that suit. And if you win with the ace, you can lead a diamond back to their king, and now you can actually get a rough. And you can make the first 6 tricks if you find that right defense there. Okay. So after that, declarer is going to make the rest, I think. It's just going to, whatever you play back now, he'll be able to draw trumps, and but he'll be down 1. He'll just make 7 tricks. So that was just an example of giving signals, using signals in different situations. Let's just look at this one from your partner's point of view. This will be the last one. Suppose it went 1 diamond, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and suppose as West. Well, what would you lead here?
Queen of hearts.
I think I would go for the clubs.
Which club?
Ace and the king.
Yeah, the ace we're going to start with. And when we play the ace, we're going to look at a signal from my partner. And the queen is an alternative. Queen of hearts is an alternative. But when you have the ace king, it's really a good idea, especially in a suit contract, to lead the ace and see what your partner signals. So here, if you play the ace and your partner plays the 3, that is obviously your partner's lowest card, and they are not encouraging you. They don't particularly want you. They've nothing to encourage you with on this hand. And if I bring up the 4 hands, you can actually see what would happen if you carried on with this suit with the king. Then, although you can win that trick, what you've done is you've set up the queen for
Right.
declarer. So if they now carry on in that suit, declarer can discard something from dummy, and they can win with their queen. And maybe you've helped declarer make a trick there. So, but it was good to lead the ace, but when your partner discourages, you should think about switching to another suit. You should think about, why did my partner not encourage me? So in other words, if you play the 3 here, and that's a message to your partner that there's nothing, you have nothing to help them with in that suit. And maybe they should switch to another suit. Maybe they would switch to a heart, which is top of the sequence. Although that doesn't gain a trick, it stops the queen from making a trick. Declarer might now draw trumps, okay? And now your partner is in. It's okay for them to lead a club, okay? Because you should be thinking, my partner led the ace and then stopped, and that's nearly always for some reason like this, that they don't want to help declarer set up a trick there. But it's okay for you to lead that, because you're leading through declarer's suit. So if they play the 10 there, your partner can win it with the jack, and it doesn't give away an extra trick for declarer. I mean, your partner could actually play the king here, and even though it's going to get roughed, it doesn't allow the queen to make a trick there. So you're basically holding declarer to one fewer trick if you don't allow them to make the queen of clubs there. So so do watch out for that when you're on lead. You know, the ace is a great lead here, but you need to be signaling. You need to be signaling encouragement or discouragement by playing the 3 or the 8 here on your partner's lead of the ace. Okay. Any other questions on that?
On that hand, Tony, is there
Yeah.
an argument to say you should lead the king so that your partner east knows that you've got the ace if the king wins?
You're suggesting you lead the king of clubs?
No, I'm asking, if you led the king of clubs, would your partner then know you've got the ace, whereas if you lead the ace, your partner doesn't necessarily know you've got the king?
So in standard bridge in this country, you should lead the ace here. Oddly enough, what you're describing is what's often played in standard American, and they lead the king both from ace-king combinations and from king-queen combinations. And they do it for the reason you've said, that by leading the king, if it wins the trick, it would suggest that you have the ace. However, that's not what's considered standard, and there are some disadvantages with that too, which is mainly that if you lead the king, your partner doesn't know whether you've got the ace or the queen.
Okay.
The standard lead here is to lead the ace and to watch what your partner plays. And leading the ace when you don't have the king is not normally a good choice. So you should not be doing this, leading the ace unless you have the king in nearly all situations. There may be some very difficult hands where you really don't know what to lead, but here you have a good alternative. And if you didn't have the ace-king of clubs, you would lead the queen of hearts here, rather than just banging down the ace. Right? You know, the problem with banging down the ace when you don't have the king is that you're often helping declarer make a trick with their king. So that's why you shouldn't really be leading just from one honor there, from the ace or the king. Any other questions? Anyway, we'll end it there, and we've got the BBO game set up. Some of you already logged on, and we'll end the meeting there, and I'll see you all online around 2 o'clock then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.